As a center, we cut through geography. We created awareness about the seabed
The
mining
superadjacent
and
waters
blue
that we see
economy.
and we talk about from the territorial sea is the same superadjacent waters that we have just spoken about in the exclusive economic zone.
The seabed has some really big advantages, which I'll come on to. It's a huge resource. You have 4 metals in one. You don't have
and share our knowledge and work with you as well, right? Because you're expert. So ISA mandate is manage exploration and potential exploitation.
Here is our 2025 recap of our webinar sessions on seabed mining and the blue economy.
You an introduction into what ISA is, the International Seabed Authority. The title says within national jurisdiction, so that's actually what we do not cover. But of course, we live from our member states, right? And a lot, if not all of the ECOWAS states are a member of ISA. So that's why, of course, it's all relevant to our activity. So ISA's legal framework for activities in the area. So we are an autonomous international organization, which was established in 1982 under the UN Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, which is considered our base. And by this, it transforms from regular seawater, which has temperature of 1.7 degrees, a pH value of 7.8, right? So just regular seawater, it changes into a very aggressive acidic fluid. And this fluid is mobilizing metals and elements from the rocks. And then we get a nice convection cell. So because it's heated up, right, it rises back to the seabed and is precipitating these metals. And this is a process which is known for 3.7 billion years, right? There are some good examples in Sierra Leone and Liberia, for example, of these ore deposits, which formed exactly in the same way as we can observe in our days. Cobalt-rich manganese crust, as said, they grow on seamounts, and they get all the metals only from the water mass, only from the water. And because concentrations in the water are so low, they have a growth rate of 1 to 4 millimeters per million years, right? So
when we started the company, we were very aware of the environmental concerns that are raised with the traditional approach to deep sea mining for nodules. And we put together a strategy of how we could design technology that would minimize the impact. So there was a concern that if you remove all of the nodules, what about the octopus that lays its eggs on the nodules, or the corals, the deep sea corals that need the nodules to attach to? Well, this is the strategy of selective harvesting and leaving 60% behind. What about the biodiversity? We know it's very special. You don't have to go many kilometers away and you will find different species of bacteria, of the small microorganisms, and even the larger megafauna. And so again, using the AI cameras to detect that life and leave it undisturbed, leaving 60% behind. The plume is a big concern. People are concerned that the plume could travel for long distances, especially the midwater plume. It could impact the fishing stock by impacting the plankton, which is then ate by the fish. So we have gone to great lengths to minimize any sediment disturbance. As I said, our vehicle is hovering, doesn't actually touch the seabed. It's designed to hover and pick up the nodules. And we don't have tracks, we don't inject water into the seabed, and we don't have a discharge plume. So we will have a little bit of disturbance as we pick, but it will be significantly less. Noise. Most of the noise concern is actually at the surface of possible metals, and is what we think we can do with seabed minerals. So we've identified a gap, and I think there are really two choices. Do we do seabed mining, or do we try to accelerate and do more land-based mining? $15,000. And so many mines had to close because they could not make money. But the seabed has some really big advantages, which I'll come on to. It's a huge resource. You have 4 metals in one. You don't have to tunnel or blast. You don't need to build infrastructure. And as a result, it will be much less expensive. With the traditional technology, it could be 5 times less expensive. With our autonomous technology, our robotic technology, we're estimating it to be 20 times less expensive. And then the environmental impacts, which I'm going to talk more about. But on land-based mining, it's well understood, those impacts. But the deep ocean is thousands of miles away from any land. It's up to, say, 4 to 6 kilometers deep. There is no people living there. So you're not going to have impacts on people and communities. Now, there is an environment, but that environment has very little life compared to the life that we find in rainforests. It's special life, it's unique life, it needs to be preserved, but by the start, there's a lot less of it. And so that's why I think there's an opportunity to do something that is significantly better.
Developing countries and share our knowledge and to work with you as well, right? Because you're expert. So ISA mandate is manage exploration and potential exploitation, to protect environment and biodiversity, to promote marine scientific research. We are not a research institution. We can only promote, but because we know research institutions, we know, of course, there are contractors. We promote marine scientific research with our contractor and say, well, you need to figure out what you found, right? And of course, there's a benefit sharing eventually as soon as exploitation is starting, so that the monetary flow is or has to be established to at least developing countries.
Namibia and South Africa. In Namibia, marine diamonds exploration has been going on since the early 1990s, whereas in South Africa, exploration for manganese and phosphates has been going on since the 2000s. But for this presentation, my primary focus is not national jurisdiction, but seabed mining in areas beyond national jurisdiction, which Professor Nabulele explained very clearly.
The continental shelf, this is where it really becomes quite interesting. Now, I said to you just now that the superadjacent waters that we see and we talk about from the territorial sea is the same superadjacent waters that we have just spoken about in the exclusive economic zone. It's the same superadjacent waters that we're going to speak about when we're talking about the high seas. It's the same superadjacent waters. Now, the seabed that we spoke about, seabed and subsoil in the territorial sea, is the same seabed and subsoil that we're now going to speak about. And the UNCLOS says that
do well to give a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.